Hey everyone, this is kind of my recap lesson for this semester and trying to pull together all of the elements that we learned throughout the semester with the guidance of the textbook that I have referred to several times throughout this summer session, the Applied Media Aesthetics Theory. So, just an overview of this theory. So, what Herbert Zettel, the author of that book, is saying that this media aesthetics theory is looking at the various elements and how they work together and how we react to them. And we can manipulate all these things: light, space, time, sound. They're essential to a video production, but how we enhance them changes how people will interpret them, people meaning the audience. It helps us evaluate these products, but it helps us create these products. So, and that's one thing that I do when I grade. I don't look at the whole thing. Well, I do, but I also look at, okay, how did the subjects look lit? How are they lit? How did this sound? So I break everything down, and that's how I evaluate the process. So the things that we look at: light, space, so the way things are arranged on screen. Actually, let me go down the list: light, motion, the movement on screen; timing, the way things happen on screen; space, so like headroom, how much space is in the shot. Is it a really tight shot? Is it a really wide shot? The color of things; and then sound. So let's look through these a little bit. And in this process, we have the shooting, things that can be manipulated in the shooting process, things that we manipulate in the editing process. So for the most part, we manipulate the lighting when we're shooting. We manipulate the space, so how things are seen on screen. We manipulate the motion, and then we manipulate the recording process. And then when we go to editing, that's when we manipulate sound. So then, yeah, we can adjust color in the editing process. We can speed up, slow down. We can adjust their timing to make things perceived differently by the audience. What's important is we combine all these audience to tell the story, and then we edit the shots together to make meaning. We can edit to intensify meaning, and then we can edit to structure on and off screen events. So, we may have video of, a cattle out in a pasture, and the way we edit it, we can let the audience know that we know that there's a horse out there somewhere, a horse and a cowboy, and they are trying to rope that calf, or something like that. So we can edit to communicate that there are other things happening in this story other than what you are seeing exactly at this moment. Okay, let's break down. And in the shooting process, consistency and lighting. And I was trying to think of a big interview that did a really great job. And of course, I'll go back to the royal family again, because this, oh my gosh, Oprah's lighting crew, y'all. This is really good. This is some of the best lighting I've seen. But, when we look at it, all of these colors are consistent, and it's just beautifully done, and really great lighting here. And so in these shots where we're staged and it's a formal interview, everybody looks consistent. The colors are all the same. Everything looks very good. And from any angle that we shoot it, it looks consistent. Now, they did do a little bit of this was kind of perceived as a news type interview, less of a documentary or a vlog or anything like that. It was presented as news. And so when you do a news story, you go shoot some B-roll. You might want to do a walk and talk interview. So, in that, you're going to get some stuff that isn't perfect. So when Oprah and Meghan went into their chicken coop, you're going to get weird shadows and things like that. And that's okay, because you can't get it right all the time, but try. And nobody is perfect unless this is a big budget production. And I mean, even Oprah, who has all the budget in the world, they have funky shadows on their faces, but it still worked. Consistency and continuity on screen. And for this one, okay, look at that bottom shot of Harry and Meghan. They're looking just slightly to their left at their interviewer. That's always important. Your people on screen need to be looking in the direction of the person that they're talking to. That's an important thing. Let's just say that they took a break and, stop, get a drink of water, and then come back. and then oops, Harry sits in the right hand seat and Megan's in the other. That creates a problem. Things aren't consistent. It doesn't create continuity within the space. So that's why it's always important to, if your interviewer is on one side of the screen, make sure they're in all of the shots. Was there something off when you shot an interview on the first day versus the second day? And again, they're looking off slightly to their left at the person that's interviewing them. Okay, timing is not always a consistency factor, but it can be. So we can use that to as a storytelling function to speed up, slow down, gradually speed up or slow down. We can do quick edits, or we can do drawn out edits to adjust the timing. So that is a factor. Consistency and timing in motion. So, here we have two different shots of combines in a wheat field. And, maybe we want to communicate the fact that these combines are driving right toward each other. Or maybe that's not what we wanted to communicate, and the way we've edited it looks really weird. And so maybe we need to watch for those types of things. Like, no, we want that combine moving from left to right in every shot. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's totally up to you that's editing a project. But do think about consistency and direction and things like that. Consistency of speed. Maybe you want to intensify the event. Like there's a thunderstorm coming in, and they've got to get that wheat cut so that they don't get hailed out. Things like that. Or you can communicate with lack of motion. Color. So one thing I'll tell you is be careful with color correction, color editing, because sometimes the more you do, the less things look real. This shot is really good. So this is a good example. But sometimes you can color correct to the point that nothing looks normal. So be careful with that, and know that if you adjust one shot, you might need to adjust the other shot, just because adjustments in one shot can make the other shots look weird. But know that you can copy and paste your effects from one shot to the other in Adobe Premiere. Sound is, we could spend lots and lots of time on sound, because poor sound can ruin a project. And it helps to keep your layers organized by keeping all of your nats on one audio line, keeping all of your dialogue on one audio line, all your music, and so on. So keeping those layers organized will help you, but know that you have to adjust each layer accordingly. So just because you adjusted nats in one shot does not mean that does not equate across the board, unless you select the entire audio line and turn down your gain. So your nats should be at the same volume, with the exception of nats, pops, music enhancements and things like that. But your dialogue volume should be at the same time. So with sound, you need to make sure that you listen to everything. I'm going to jump ahead here, but listen with headphones on. When you think you're done, listen with headphones on. And some people even close their eyes to listen, because what if the audio in one shot seems really loud and then in the next shot it does not? So do invest in good sound equipment. Just like you would invest in a nice camera, you need to invest in good audio recording equipment. And just as you would spend plenty of time editing your video clips, spend a good amount of time editing your sound clips. So these are kind of my final tips that I give to everybody on shooting great video. So rule number one that I tell everybody is use the tripod. Now, this is not something that you have to do with every single shot, but almost every single shot, use the tripod. You may think you're a steady shooter, but you're not. So use the tripod, or use something to stabilize your image. Invest in good audio equipment, like I said. Look and listen for things that are going to spoil your shot. So, are there kids in the background that are making a bunch of noise that's going to mess up your audio? Or is there something going on that just doesn't look right? Things like that. Set your shot, hit record, and step away for 10 seconds. So let that shot record. When you give yourself plenty of time when you're shooting your video, you're going to have plenty of stuff to edit, and you'll be much happier when you're editing. Another tip, move around. Video does not look good shot from one angle. So move up and down, move around, shoot from different angles, shoot until you think you're finished, and then shoot for 5 more minutes. And then, if possible, shoot in the golden hours, first thing in the morning and later in the evening. You'll get prettier video that way. My last thing that I had to say to you all was thank you for enrolling in the course. Thank you for being part of our graduate program. Thank you for doing good work. Thank you for participating, for all of your great discussion posts. Thank you for giving me feedback. Thank you for letting me know that videos weren't playing and things like that. And above all, I just appreciate really positive attitudes in this class. Y'all were great to work with, and I have really enjoyed getting to know every one of you. And if you'd like to stay in touch, this is where to find me on the social. I'm a pretty boring follow on Twitter. I do most of my stuff on Instagram and Facebook, but go ahead and add me, and I would love to keep up with you and follow your career as it progresses. Thank you very much.